too many wrecks tonight.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you've got that CPS Chevrolet from. Oh, geez, I'm cats. Hold on a second. We're on. It went to the wrong name. As we welcome in some more viewers here onto the YouTube.com live chat. Want to welcome everybody in. Dave Regal here at the microphone with Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma. As we get into the warm-up, let's take a quick peek here. And still 102 degrees, Brandon. So, obviously for right now, it's going to be a little slick out there. What's going to be the strategy besides, hey, let's not self-spin? Is this going to be a ride to survive, or is this going to be something more aggressive for you?
It's going to mostly be ride to survive for me tonight. I'm not very good at short tracks, so I try to do quite a few races this week, but a lot of the official races that I ended up running turned out to be wreck fest, so I never really got to see what long run speed I had or just see how the car really felt, or the truck in this case really felt. So it's going to be mostly survival, just trying not to hit anybody.
Yeah, after what we saw on Sunday night, of course, during the All-Star Race Open and the feature, I mean, we saw a lot of quality racing here, from these drivers. So, quite frankly, I'm excited to see all of it, come together here as it's the twilight of our week at North Wilkesboro. So, Brandon, listen, thank you for your time. We're going to shuffle on down here, and listen, good luck tonight, brother.
Thanks, Dave.
Next driver we want to hear from is my brother from another mother, driver, the number 27, Mr. 305, Randall Watkins. Hey, Randall, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Hey, Dave. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you feeling tonight?
Pretty good. It's been a really busy day, about like you.
Oh, trust me. I run until my feet get blisters, then, you just change socks and keep it moving. Listen, here we are at North Wilkesboro tonight. What are you thinking as you come in to tonight's race as Bandit Racing's only driver in the stable for the evening?
Feel lonely. But I love North Wilkesboro. I haven't raced the trucks here since the, NR2K3 was out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's about right.
Been a long time since I've run the trucks here, so it's still the same, though. Of course, the difference is I've got, direct drive wheels and everything now that give you more feel for the track. I love it. So hopefully we'll do good. I'm confident as long as the track stays the way it is and temperature doesn't change a whole lot, so we keep up with it. It'll be good.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck out there in the number 27 Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Of course, Ford F-150 as you're in every week. And, hey, listen, maybe tonight's the night. This is the night that I'm going to watch you light it all on fire.
Oh, you done jinxed me. Thank you.
Somebody had to do it. It's like talking about a no-hitter during a no-hitter.
Exactly. So, hey, it might have the opposite effect. Who knows? Hey, anything's possible.
Everybody knows that although I'm supposed to sit up here and be, non-biased and objectionable, everybody knows who my favorite drivers are, and you're just one of them. And I'll tell you what, you and Chris Claude, you're the guys that I'm always pulling for out here since Tony Burt's decided to be off in the sunset right now. So, listen, go out there and win one for the Gipper.
Thank you, sir. I will definitely try it, and really appreciate it, brother.
All right, brother. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, folks, just a couple of minutes left here in our warm-up session. In fact, literally just a minute and a half as we take a look here at Jeremy Paris in the 05, his traditional black, as he has decided to be the man in black once again. Folks, if you're looking for a way to get your name out there and there we go, Paul Hill cheering on Chris Custer in our YouTube.com live chat. If you're looking for a way to get your business out there and you want to see it on screen all the time, Jeremy Paris is looking for a sponsor here on the 05. As he's been the man in black all season long. He had a little bit of a pink streak for a while, but here's the thing: Jeremy Paris spends a lot of time atop the pile of these races, and could use a sponsor here to sex up that 05. So make sure that maybe you try to reach out to him via the YouTube.com live chat, or of course, over on the iRacing.com service, or you can reach out to us here at SRM, and we can put you in touch with him as well. Rich Jett in the double natural out of Schwenksville, Pennsylvania. A little distance away from me, but not too far. He's running P2 right now in our warm-up session. Of course, we see Chris Claude here in the 10 trying to get things figured out for his Toyota Tundra. And, Chris, He comes so close every week, and again, this is kind of one of those racetracks where I really think he has a chance to make a strong run at this piece. And we're going to see some of that talent later tonight. In fact, in just a few seconds, as the warm-up session just about all but over. The warm-up session is over. Qualifying is over. We get a quick peek here at the full field, all 24 of them, as we take a peek back. Ben Garrity going to be sitting on our pole position, so we get to run through all of these drivers in just a few moments. John Wilco back in 18th. Of course, then we have Brandon Hinton, Randall Watkins, Chris Custer, Noah Hamilton, Richard Pruitt, and Chris Melton toward the rear of the field. We'll see them momentarily as well. But first and foremost, we want to talk about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania's very own number 65, Benjamin Garrity here. Sits on the pole position in his Chevrolet Silverado from Gorilla Glass. He'll be joined in the front row by John Crow Sr. in the number 95. Josh Berry from apparently my mom's going to sit on the inside of row number 2, joined by Jeremy Parrish from Flowery Branch, Georgia. Row 3 going to feature Brandon Minto and Gabriel Lafreniere from St. Jude, north of the border, of course, in his 06 Oxmoor Ford F-150. Then, of course, we go to Mitchell Smith and Claude Ferland in row number 4. Row 5 going to feature Chris Claude and Tane Hodison out of Brunswick, Maine. Ethan Eckert and Jamie Beasley holding things down in row number 6, while Boston's very own Daniel Moynihan and Michael Witt from Bristol, Tennessee, going to be in row number 7. Row 8 has Rich Jett from Schwanksville, Pennsylvania, and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, in the number 62, starting in 16th position, while Steve Herring and Matt Mackin going to be residing in row number 9. Row 10 is Brandon Hinton and Mr. 305 Randall Watkins from Miami, Florida, starting in 20th position, while Chris Custer, Noah Hamilton, and Richard Pruitt out of Sanford, North Carolina, holding things down, starting shotgun on the field. 23 drivers tonight scheduled to take the green flag. 250 laps, the total distance scheduled tonight. Stage breaks going to be at laps 70 and 140 with 4 tire sets total for the race. So going to be a long night for many of these drivers as the iRacing.com pace car leads us down here into turns 3 and 4. And I'll tell you what, folks, I've been waiting all week for this race to get underway. These truck drivers have been waiting for it. They've been practicing their tails off. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Benjamin Garrity, as if he suddenly was shot out of a cannon, just jumps in front of Josh Berry and John Crow Sr. here by already 0.8 of a second. They are fast and furious behind him, though, as this is an angry pack of Hornets. We're going to ride along with Gabriel Lafreniere here as we are suddenly under caution. Claude Ferland seems to be involved in something. We'll take a peek here momentarily. Let's see what happened with Claude as they come out of 3 and 4. Claude Ferland, driver of the number 43. Oh, he gets nosed into by the 47. It doesn't look like it was that hard of a hit, but of course had to get out of the way quick, fast, and in a hurry. Let's see if we can see what that looked like from maybe his rear bumper. Here comes Ferland as he rolls out of 4, and yeah, just as soon as things get going, he gets spun around, and that's not exactly a fun way to start this race. But, you know, here's the thing. We're still early on. He's got plenty of race left, and these guys from the Axon LED team are they are absolute workhorses when it comes to trying to get it done here in this league. I mean, many of them, you know, spend a couple of hours a week together before even getting here to the race itself. So, you know, all things considered, they put the work in. And, you know, Ferland, even though now he runs way back here in 22nd, looks like he didn't take too much damage, so he's going to give it a go here and see what he wants to do with the 43. But the story of that start there, all Ben Garrity here in the 65 is he just absolutely took off like a rocket. I mean, he was on another planet with the throttle. Of course, some of these positions are already switched around. Josh Berry crawled up into P2 before that wreck came out. John Crow dropped back into third. Ethan Eckert already climbed up 4 positions in just a very short period of time, as he now runs in 7th position. Tane Hodison running in 8th now. Mitchell Smith and Chris Claude down 1 spot each, now respectively running in 9th and 10th position. So a lot of positions changing. Of course, some of that has to do with the fact that, Claude Ferland just dropped out of nowhere. The iRacing.com pace car brings us through turns 3 and 4, makes the hard left turn. Garrity hits the restart zone and once again is off like a shot. We're going to get a chance now to ride along with Jeremy Paris. And as Paris gets himself wound up, he's trying to get caught up here to Josh Berry, but sounds like he's able to shift down into third, which should give him a good fire off of exit out of 4 and 2. Maybe he stays in 4, coming out of 2. That'll keep the wheels underneath him. Now he's staying in 4th gear. So, he's obviously simply trying to, keep a little bit of that torque off the rear tires, and we're under caution again. This time it's Chris Custer registering on timing and scoring. Chris Custer here in the 66. He's got Randall Watkins, underneath him. Watkins ricocheted back up the track. And maybe I really did accidentally put the Kavorka on him. So we're going to see just what happened here from the nose of Randall Watkins. Yeah, Watkins got loose, hit the grass, came up and hit Custer. And that's all she proverbially wrote. But once again, the speeds that these guys are running at tonight, relatively slow compared to what we would see at an intermediate track or, of course, something slightly different here. Ben Garrity still controlling the field. Josh Berry and Jeremy Paris both running in 2nd and 3rd right now. As I guess it's time that we might as well pull up the standings. Haven't showed them lately because there wasn't much to talk about. We've got Stephism here cheering on Mitchell Smith. Spider Mike saying, hello, race fans, for the number 65. Cheering on the P1 look. Stephism said, looked like the 43 truck came up out of nowhere into the corner into the 47. Look, we're not race control. With my luck, as soon as I say something or make an opinion like that, I'm going to have an angry bunch of Hornets and drivers coming after me in the parking lot after this race. The official distance around this racetrack is 0.625 miles. And, of course, it's paved and, it's asphalt paved. There's no concrete here. The track has a capacity of 25,000 fans as of 2023. When this track was on our regular season schedule, they had a capacity of 60,000 people. I mean, that's more than we can cram into Citizens Bank Park for playoff baseball. And, that's what they were getting around this racetrack for regular season racing up through 1996, of course, when this track was taken off of our regular schedule. As we get back underway, let's ride along with Josh Berry and watch the jump that Ben Garrity gets over the rest of the field. My goodness, as we are back green flag racing here on lap number 14. Maybe these drivers can get themselves together here as Tane Hodison in the 93 chases down the 11 of Ethan Eckert, who's out here doing battle with Brandon Minto in the Oki Ford F-150. Of course, not his traditional Kraft macaroni and cheese F-150. As he is side by side here with the 11, all of a sudden Eckert steps sideways just a little bit, keeps the truck underneath him. That's going to be a struggle for many of these drivers as we take a look at the track temperature. 104 degrees now, so up 2 degrees. It's not coming down like they had hoped. As we can see, there is basically no room on the racetrack for anybody. Even Chris Claude here battling hard right now alongside of Daniel Moynihan, works the inside, throws it in here to turn 3 and 4 just in front of Rich Jett. That gets Jett off of the pace, and that, you know, if Chris could slide up there and get between Moynihan and Jett, he could secure that position and really start to make some hay. But right now he just doesn't have the room, as now we should start to see him try to pull into line. Come on, Chris, you got to get up in the line here. You got to be able to use all of this racetrack to start slingshotting yourself on turn exit out to the wall and getting enough speed to haul it down into turn entry. As now Chris gets into single file line, we're going to start to see some of these drivers pick one another off one at a time, as Ethan Eckert still side by side with another driver, and this time it's Gabriel Lafreniere in the Oxmoor Ford F-150, of course out of Saint-Jude. They make contact, but they keep it between the lines. "20 laps in the books here. Now we see Jeremy Paris coming out of nowhere. What in the world was he doing down there? As now Paris goes to duke it out with Ethan Eckert. They go side by side. Ethan Eckert seems like all he wants to do is battle, and he's still fighting a loose condition as he nearly gets loose just over top of Gabriel Lafreniere. Oh, wow, I almost had to say it. Almost 3 wide going into turns 1 and 2 as they roll out of 2 and down the back chute. Ethan Eckert now the high side of Tane Hodison as they are hot and heavy. Hodison here trying to get just a little bit of an edge so he can throw the block in front of the 11 of Ethan Eckert and calm everything down. We're under caution for the 3rd time here on lap number 22. This time it's Jamie Beasley. He's got Rich Jett just behind him in the 77. Jamie Beasley self-spinning into the wall. That's not what you want to do, especially in a league where you get penalized after 2 of those. Let's see if we can get a hold of, well, at this point, anybody. Hey, Tane Hodison, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Hey, man, listen. Right now you're sitting here in P5. You were just duking it out with Ethan Eckert. Explain yourself, sir. It's only 23 laps in, and you guys were just going at it like a couple of kids in the back seat of a station wagon.
Well, we were teammates at the start of the season, so it's just kind of like fun racing, you know. I don't know how to really explain it, but we know each other. We know how each other can race, so it's important to stay in front of each other for an ego point of view.
I get it. It's literally a urination competition. Listen, man, good luck tonight the rest of the way. I was watching you and Ethan battling it out, and what a great battle it was. Hopefully we get to see you duke it out for a little while longer here, because that was exciting to watch.
Yes, thank you.
That the voice of Tane Hodison, driver the number 93 Menards Toyota Tundra, as we get him moved back on up here into the Apex. There we go, into the Apex Motorsport stable here. We'll get a few moments, in just a few moments, hopefully maybe next time around, we'll get a chance to talk to Josh Berry and some of these other drivers who've been running around. We don't want to try to interfere with Ben Garrity as he leads this piece right now in laps number 25. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means we'll be going back green flag racing this time by. They hit the Geico restart zone and already out like a light as they go through turns 1 and 2. Hardly any real estate on this racetrack as Ben Garrity pulls ahead here into the clean air. Green flag racing once again. That was our longest green flag run as Jeremy Paris is suddenly knifing his way through the field. He's right here on the left rear quarter panel and now almost to the door handle of Josh Berry, and they go side by side and nearly put the fenders together as they come out of turn 4 and back onto the front stretch. Josh Berry looking to the inside now, or looking to the high side, while Jeremy Paris looks to the inside. Paris here now getting just barely past him. Oh, what a dangerous move as he basically just threw the block in front of the 56. That's going to open the door for Ethan Eckert to try to slide through here. Ethan Eckert saw these two guys going at it, and Jeremy Paris, not willing to be put to bed early tonight, just nudges Ethan Eckert down here toward the grass. That gets the kid out of the way. Chris Custer registering his crash, but no caution thrown. Ethan Eckert all of a sudden has himself in a hornet's nest, and he is desperately trying to hold on here to the 11. Ethan Eckert now sliding back into 4th position as things kind of calm down. That was some seriously good driving out of Paris, Berry, and Eckert as they managed to go out there beating and banging on one another's fenders and still keeping it green flag racing as we take a peek a little deeper in the field. Gabriel Lafreniere starting to chase down Rich Jett as the two of them get ready to work over the 93 of Tane Hodison. Want to remind everyone that on 105.5 WMGH on Sunday afternoon is Polka Joe's 50th anniversary party up at the Lakeside Ballroom in Barnesville, Pennsylvania. Always tuning in there to 105.5 WMGH. Make sure that you download our app. That's a shameless plug for the radio station. Why not? But 50 years of polkas from Polka Joe is just something exciting, that's for sure. As we take a look here at Ben Garrity, who's already out to 6 and, just about 7/10 of a second, now 6/10 of a second in front of Jeremy Paris. The fighting's starting to get really vicious here around Matt Mackin as he looks to the inside of Claude Furland. The X-Ray Toyota Tundra just alongside the 43 as now Mackin backs off and allows Furland to go on by. Brandon Hinton here in his Ford F-150. He works just over top of Jamie Beasley in the 49, securing away 17th spot for now, but all of a sudden Beasley gets a run here underneath Hinton, and suddenly Beasley runs in 17th. As deep as this field is, you would think that this wouldn't be that bad of a competition, but these drivers know that every point counts in this league as we get deeper into the season. Rich Jett here in the 77, he just blows on by the 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere. And now we look a little bit behind them and we can see Brandon Minto out here logging laps, staying out of trouble, and that's the kind of thing that you expect out of the Furta Motorsports stable. We take a look here at Randall Watkins just now in the 27. And he is having some kind of problem. First off, it looks like he's missing the entire fender here on the left-hand side. Self-spins down into the grass. Now, the interesting thing here is he knows that if he goes back up on the racing surface right here, it's going to wind up throwing the caution. So rather than bring the caution out, he's going to carefully... he winds up towing. .40 laps in the books and several drivers starting to come down pit road, Claude Furlan being one of them, as Claude seems to be just getting some repairs done here on the 43. So he may just be frustrated with the way that truck's handling after his incident earlier. Ben Garrity here in the 65 still leads this beast by now a half second. Jeremy Paris has closed the gap by another 10th of a second since we last checked on this battle at the top. while John Crow Sr. gets ready to throw it right underneath Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06 Oxmoor F-150. And it looks like Lafreniere is going to hold him off for another lap. Lafreniere has found some speed here in that mid-groove. And whatever it is working for him in his F-150 and keeping him just ahead of John Crow in his Toyota Tundra. So a little Toyota on Ford Crime here, as it looks like John Crow was trying to assault the rear bumper. And all of a sudden, Lafreniere gets a little tight. Crow just throws it underneath, but then he loosens up as we work lap number 43 on our way to lap number 70 here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Dave Riegel with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, as it looks like Uncle Scott retracted a message already. So, Uncle Scott, what was on your mind that you didn't want to share with the rest of us? Quite frankly, I think it's soon time that we get Uncle Scott a Discord invite, because we've been talking about him for 2 years here as he's knocking back the Miller Lights with Brandon Minto here in the number 12 out of Norman, Oklahoma. The young man running P2 right now in our point standings, just behind Jeremy Paris, literally by 3 points. So that's a tough spot to be in. He's got to be able to get here ahead of Jeremy Paris, and right now trails him by 6 positions on the scoring pylon. Caution number 4 of the night as Noah Hamilton goes off track. Caution number 4 before even the first stage is over. Love it. There's Noah. Noah Hamilton did not want to see that. Let's see if we can quick get a look at this. Here comes Hamilton. He gets a little bit loose and then just accidentally nudged. Because, I mean, listen, you get yourself loose and you're running that close to somebody, dumb things are bound to happen, and dumb things just happened. .48 laps in the books, 22 to go here in stage number 1, as Ben Garrity leads this piece, followed by Jeremy Paris, Ethan Eckert, Rich Jett, Tane Hodison, Gabriel Lafreniere, Brandon Minto, Daniel Moynihan, Mitchell Smith, and Josh Barry. As we're under caution number 4, and it's not been anything major. We haven't seen half the field wipe itself out or anything crazy as we would see at an intermediate track or, of course, a super speedway. What's going on right now is these are drivers that are trying to boogie around on a racetrack that currently is 99 degrees, which is almost cool enough to start seeing, some of the grip get into the asphalt and some of the speeds go up. The other thing that's going to do is for some of these drivers that went out here, set up for a hot racetrack, now they're going to have to make some tire pressure adjustments and try to get a little bit more grip into these trucks as they work here on lap number 50. So Dave Riegel with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Uncle Scott saying, let's go. Minto just got home and got an ice cold Miller Lite. Been hot here in Michigan. Just fat fingers. Well, listen, I understand the fat finger problem, Uncle Scott, believe me. But thank goodness it's Miller Lite. Half the carbs helps with that. Me personally, I'm into Yingling Flight. Check that out at your local beer store. As the iRacing.com pace car makes the left turn down pit road, Ben Garrity drops the hammer and all of a sudden takes off. But Jeremy Paris isn't going to be fooled this time. He's got the timing just right here as he is now side by side with Ben Garrity down the back chute and into turn number 3. Jeremy Paris has found the way to get around Ben Garrity, and at this point, Ben Garrity is just absolutely crapping razor blades going down the front stretch because he hasn't had any kind of competition like this all night long. Everybody's been behind him. Now Jeremy Paris is out here showing him this is why he's our points leader coming into tonight. Jeremy Paris working just over top of Garrity now as they swing out of turn 4. They aren't done yet, folks. Jeremy Paris can't completely clear the 65 as now the 65 and the 05 getting ready to go at it as they haul it down the back chute. Ben Garrity may have finally cooked everything out of his tires as he was battling it out with Jeremy Paris. Now he goes side by side with Ethan Eckert, and now we can see some of this coming to fruition as Ben Garrity gets shuffled back into third position late here in stage number 1. Less than 20 to go in stage 1, as a matter of fact, here from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Deeper back in the field, Gabriel Lafreniere once again side by side with Tane Hodison. We talked to Tane a little while ago, and it seems like he just wants to be out here battling. He doesn't want to go single file. He doesn't want to log some laps. And you know what? For somebody that's out here taking care of business this way, or, TCB, if you will, he's doing just fine. As long as you're not out here, beating the fenders off of someone's car, causing wrecks and causing problems on the racetrack, you go ahead. You go side by side. You haul it down the back chute. Deeper in the field goes Chris Custer and Brandon Hinton as we work lap number 58 here in the Tuesday Night NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series right here on Sim Racing Media. I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening as Chris Custer just got passed here by Jamie Beasley and now opened the door for Brandon Hinton as Hinton has to try to get up here and behind him. He's got the 55 here in Brandon Hinton trying to get back up to Chris Custer. He's got the 89 of Steve Herring in the way, and of course Herring down a lap, so that's going to be a problem. Herring right now would be the lucky dog as long as he can stay, ahead of Jeremy Paris and not get down another lap as we go here to our drone cam while they come down the front stretch. We swing here on the front stretch and watch Jeremy Paris just absolutely run a clinic. The 65 of Ben Garrity, who started on the pole position, he currently runs in P3 after he cooked his equipment trying to beat Jeremy Paris. Listen, sometimes if you can't beat him, fall into line and join him. Gabriel Lafreniere still back here with Tane Hodison. All of a sudden, Daniel Moynihan and now Josh Berry want to get themselves in on this battle. Riding along with Josh Berry now. As he looks here to the inside, we can ride along on the roof. Josh Berry over top of Daniel Moynihan looking for any kind of an opening. At this point, he's probably better off just kind of hanging out and waiting for Moynihan to make a mistake, but Moynihan has a self-spin history here in this league, so maybe Barry just kind of wants to get by him and put him in the rearview mirror, as Gabriel just did. Five laps to go this time by in stage 1. We finally get a nice long green flag run, and Jeremy Paris is just absolutely logging laps, and there goes Gabriel. Anybody want to bet if it was Hodison or Moynihan? Gabriel just behind Tane Hodison gets his nose into the rear bumper of the F-150 of Hodison. And boom went the dynamite. Not any serious damage once again. And by my math, this should be enough that we're going to have a one-lap shootout here to the end of stage 1. John Staller here cheering on Speed Racer. I think that was the Mach 5, not the 05, but I'll accept it. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. Let us know in the youtube.com live chat who your favorite driver is, who you're cheering for tonight. Of course, you know, I've got my favorite drivers, I've got my picks, and none of them are doing any good right now, which is just about par for the course as Claude Ferland is going to come down pit road and get some more damage fixed on the 43. Jeremy Paris going to lead us around here behind the iRacing.com pace car. I want to remind everybody that we have 6 nights of racing here on Sim Racing Media, and there is not one league here that is a slouch, that's for sure. As here we are on Tuesday night right now, the Extreme Cup Series is going to be at 9 p.m. with Liam and Jordan. Actually, they are just going live now, and if you want to hear some really cool commentary, Liam and Jordan definitely the ones to do it. But of course, I would prefer that you stay here with the Craftsman Truck Series. Mike Desmonet and Alan Bergen going to be our nightcap at 10:20 p.m. Eastern as they call the Western States Racing League. And then, of course, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here at Sim Racing Media, John and Rick, are going to be on Racers Elite. They're actually on right now, as a matter of fact. They start about an hour before we do. Wednesday nights, of course, is the Racers Elite once again with Mike, as he'll be all by his lonesome. And then the Extreme Cup Series is going to be with Liam and Jordan once again. Thursday night, I'll be with you again here at the microphone alongside Daniel Paulus Jr. in the Racers Elite Cup Series. And then Friday and off night, ISNF going to be running their Coke 600 as well as the ECR League with Liam and Emily. And then Sunday, myself and my partner in crime, Matt Metler, as we are going to add a lap here and have a one-lap shootout, it appears, to the end of stage 1. But myself and Matt Metler will be bringing you the SNN Cup Series right here at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, also Sunday, I'll be covering Polka Joe's 50th anniversary on 105.5 WMGH, as we'll be at the Lakeside Ballroom in Barnesville, Pennsylvania. For all of you that are near Barnesville, literally there's only one person. In fact, let's see if I can find him. There's only one person on all of our Discord here who's even close by. And, of course, he's not in here. That would have been John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, right now running the number 62 in 14th position. The iRacing.com pace car leads us down the back chute. We'll be having a one-lap shootout here to the end of stage 1. So get ready for caution number 6, even though that this one will be for no cause. Paris lights the fuse and takes off like a bomb. Eckert and Garrity side by side here going into 1 and 2. They hold it together. They're doing well. They go side by side, but Eckert gets the run on Garrity. Garrity still looks here to the left rear quarter panel. Jeremy Paris hauls it out of turn 4. He crosses the start-finish line, captures the green and white checkered flag, and that will be the end of stage number 1. It's going to go Paris, Eckert, Garrity, Hodison, Crow, Moynihan, Rich Jet, Michael Witt, Brandon Minto, and Chris Custer. Maybe Chris Claude. Your top 10 as we wait for the scoring decision from the NASCAR truck. Elsewhere in the world of sports, it looks like the Philadelphia Phillies are leading the Texas Rangers down in Arlington in the 8th inning, as Jeremy Paris is going to stay out for reasons I'm not quite sure of. But the Phillies leading the Rangers 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning after an Alec Boehm bomb, if you will, here in South Philadelphia. Jeremy Paris chooses to stay out while John Crow Sr. came down to lap number 46. Gabriel Lafreniere. A lot of these drivers came in early. So let's see if Paris comes down. For reasons I'm not quite sure of. Now all of a sudden I can't hear out of my headphones. That's a problem. That's just about right. Let's see if we can get a hold of Jeremy Paris. And once again, I don't see Jeremy Paris in our Discord channel. So that's going to make it real hard to talk to him. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Jeremy Paris, John Crow Sr., Gabriel Lafreniere, Richard Pruitt, Mitchell Smith, Jamie Beasley, Ethan Eckert, Ben Garrity, Tane Hodison, and Daniel Moynihan, your top 10. Nothing like having to fix your headphones midway through a race. 78 laps in the books here as the iRacing.com pace car looks to drop everybody out. Jeremy Paris not coming down pit road. This is an interesting decision. I guess maybe he thinks he can stretch this one out and short pit stage 2. Or he's counting on another caution so he doesn't lose a lap, because there's definitely no reason to stop under green at this stage in the game. Jeremy Paris takes a hint and takes off. Gabriel Lafreniere and John Crow Sr. in tow behind him. They're going to have to duke it out, but Richard Pruitt, falling like a stone through the standings, suddenly can't keep up with Tane Hodison as he goes high. There's plenty of speed in the middle of the racetrack, but not enough real estate to get on down there. As now Richard Pruitt is just being plowed along here by the 49 of Jamie Beasley. We ride along here with Beasley. Driver, the 49 out of Sanford, Florida. He looks now almost like he wanted to go 3 wide. He thinks better of it. He allows Rich Jett on past. And now he's going to follow Rich Jett underneath the 24 while Gabriel Lafreniere goes fast. Oh! Beasley just goes off track in a surprise move. While we're riding along with him, let's see what happened here from above. Jamie Beasley comes out of 2, comes down the back, comes down the back chute. And just gets himself loose. He manages to stay on the grass and nudge his way in there, so that'll keep him from bringing the caution out for a self-spin. So once again, that'll keep him free of any penalties here that the league might levy against him, as now he goes from up in the top 10 to now in the bottom 10 of this piece, as Jeremy Paris is battling it out up front with Gabriel Lafreniere. Our neighbor from the north, not near as polite as they say they are from Toronto and St. Jude, as he is now our race leader. So your new race leader, Gabriel Lafreniere out of St. Jude, he has the Oxymore F-150 up in the lead here on lap number 84. We work our way toward lap number 140 here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Dave Regal with you in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, watching Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action live from the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ben Garrity here trying to get his way back up to the lead, but he's got a lot of traffic to cut through right now as he works underneath the 47 of Mitchell Smith. Mitchell Smith in that Goodwrench Chevrolet Silverado works over top of the 65 of Ben Garrity. I keep saying Ben Garrity as if it's all one word, like he's a rabbi, as Josh Berry goes off track. Here's Josh Berry in the 56. He's just underneath the 88. Wow, something snapped inside that car, and he just went a-spinning. Fortunately, literally touched nothing, not even the inside retaining fence. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, brings his Silverado pit side, as well as Jamie Beasley. One of each manufacturer down on pit road. Noah Hamilton in his Toyota, Jamie Beasley in the F-150, and John Wilco in his Silverado now rolling off a pit road. Still waiting to see if Jeremy Paris wants to come down. He doesn't, as he sits here on the top three, but Gabriel Lafreniere just blew the doors off of him, so that may be all she wrote for Jeremy Paris here in the early goings of this race. We haven't even hit the halfway mark at 125. So it's been a busy night so far here at North Wilkesboro. The stands are full. Hopefully these fans got themselves some ice cream there, keep themselves cool. We got to get ready for the popsicle sticks to go in the air much later in the race. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Gabriel Lafreniere, Ethan Eckert, Jeremy Paris, John Crow Sr., Tane Hodison, Ben Garrity, Rabbi Ben Garrity, Mitchell Smith, Rich Jett, Daniel Moynihan, and Michael Witt. And that's Michael Witt, not Michael Whitt. Michael Witt likes Cool Whip. Cool Whip and wheat thins. Two by two go these drivers, Noah's Ark style. As everybody gets back in the line, the iRacing.com pace car turns the lights out, which means that we'll be going back green flag racing this time by. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as the pace car comes down toward turn number 3. We see that good old-fashioned First Union sign. Of course, First Union, a big deal in banking once upon a time, especially here in the Northeast. Of course, we had the First Union Center that is now the Wells Fargo Center. And in between was the Wachovia Center. Nothing in between, though, for Gabriel Lafreniere as he takes off in front of Ethan Eckert, dropping the hammer. And now Eckert, here's the thing. The young man doesn't seem to understand that Gabriel Lafreniere is skilled and patient. Ethan Eckert more than likely going to wind up burning his equipment up too fast, as now he works underneath. He's going to take the lead away. We're going to see that. Nope, he doesn't. Not this time. Lafreniere getting a good run on exit out of 2 and down the back chute here on lap number 93, as Ethan Eckert digs here just behind him, but he may wind up cooking his equipment. Gabriel Lafreniere on slightly older tires, the grip not there for him, as Ethan Eckert now looks to get around. These two drivers with about a half-second lead over Jeremy Paris, as Paris looks on from behind. Riding along with Jeremy Paris, all he can do is sit back here and wait for them to make a mistake ahead of him. He's got to be banking on that at this stage in the race, as he's going to sit here and just watch this battle, break itself out. All of a sudden, you went to see a race car competition, and a fight breaks out. Ethan Eckert being scored your race leader for the time being as he finally secures the lead away from Gabriel Lafreniere. A hard-fought battle, but we aren't even close to over yet as we see Ben Garrity running the 65 just behind Jeremy Paris, who's on those old tires. Jeremy Paris looking from behind at Ben Garrity. Can see him all over his bumper as Garrity looks to work just underneath Paris as they go side by side into 3 and 4. I'm sorry, into 1 and 2. And as they haul it down the back chute, Ben Garrity now securing 4th position away as he sets his sights on Tane Hodison. Folks, we're going to step aside here and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. This is Tuesday Night NASCAR. And we're going to hold it right here as just as we get ready to go to commercial, Mitchell Smith showing up as having crashed. Watch Smith here in the 47, that Goodyear Goodwrench Chevrolet, as he does self-spin, but oh! The 56 of Josh Berry just annihilates him. And not intentionally whatsoever. I don't think Josh Berry had too many places to go as, he swung himself down in here. He sees the wreck happening. He sees the 47 go down track, and he doesn't think that the 47 would have stayed pointed downhill, it would have been okay. But unfortunately for Josh Berry, not so much, as boom goes the proverbial dynamite on the 47 Chevrolet Silverado. Randall Watkins registering as having crashed as he's having another rough night here in the 27. Let's see what happened. No, Randall just wanted to bring it to a stop and control that truck and keep himself from getting involved in that wreck. I don't blame him. As we work lap 102 of 250. Ethan Eckert going to be scored your race leader here at North Wilkesboro Speedway at one of our most hallowed grounds in NASCAR. Taking a look here at some of the records set over the years. Kyle Larson sets the NASCAR Cup Series record at 18.362 seconds as far as qualifying goes, and the NASCAR Truck Series record goes to Corey Heim. And both were set this year in 2024. Of course, once upon a time we had the first Union 400 held here, then the Tyson Holly Farms 400, the NASCAR All-Star race now, of course, and tonight's race, the Wright Brand 250. And this racetrack very special because what happened here was back in 2019, they scanned this racetrack, they scanned the remnants of this racetrack for iRacing because, of course, there's a lot of purists here as Ethan Eckert brings us back into the restart zone. There were a lot of purists that wanted to be able to bring back North Wilkesboro Speedway. And, basically they scanned it for iRacing and figured this was going to be the place that North Wilkesboro lived forever. And then, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and a consortium of other race fans and, people with money, if you will, as well as the governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper. And they wound up securing $20 million to start trying to renew this racetrack and basically revive it. And they did in fine style. I mean, unlike some things that we see in real life that get translated into the digital world, this one went from the digital world to being real once again. So They literally resurrected a racetrack that was basically slated for, grass to be growing through the infield. There was a lot of volunteer efforts to get this place back into appropriate form, and the Cars Series comes here, and originally an ownership group led by Alton McBride. Basically, they were trying to get the USA Racing Pro Cup Series to come here, and that didn't work out. There was just a lot of people who wanted to get racing restored here at North Wilkesboro, and finally it happens with the help of the name of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And believe me, there's a guy right there, and I got as close as anybody could to him. He understands the history of this sport. He understands that he's a curator of history in this sport, and how much responsibility gets put on him, not only as a retired driver, but of course with that last name working his way, and we're under caution again. Let's take a look here and see what happened with Jamie Beasley in the 49. And Jamie Beasley just spun himself alone. I think Randall Watkins just checked up to a darn near stop, but let's take a peek here and make sure everything's all right with Randall. Jamie Beasley on his first self-spin. Randall Watkins just having to lock him up, and he just makes contact there, but the only thing that's going to do is give him a little 4X there on his damage report. Had to refill the old drinking cup here. Ethan Eckert leading now with Tane Hodison going to be running P2. Gabriel Lafreniere in third. Ben Garrity and John Crow Sr. going to roll out your top five. Jeremy Paris, Daniel Moynihan, Rich Jett, Michael Witt, and Brandon Hinton make up your top 10 as we get ready to go back green flag racing in just a couple of moments here. Young Camel, I assume that what you didn't know was how this racetrack got to be resurrected, but it's an incredible story. And, as a younger person, I didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to watch races here at North Wilkesboro. I didn't really start to get into NASCAR until about 1999. But I had heard things, and of course I've seen old races held here, over on NASCAR.com. And, NASCAR and baseball, and I don't know if that's why I love both sports as much as I do, because both of them take such good care of their history. It's incredible what they do here. And I mean, there are some racetracks that we only go to once a year now that, I personally would like to see twice a year. I think that this is better being a special racetrack, as Ethan Eckert drops the hammer here on lap 116. I don't know if this is a racetrack that I would consider coming to twice a year, but, we've, of course, cut the schedule back to only one stop at Dover, one stop at Pocono, and those, of course, I'm hysterically biased, don't get me wrong. But those are racetracks that, are part of the fabric that brought this sport to life. Eckert, Hodison, and Garrity. 1, 2, 3 they go here on lap 119, approaching halfway of this race. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to welcome everybody in to the youtube.com live chat. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we go live here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank you for tuning in. Ethan Eckert leading us here in the 11 truck. He's battled his way through this piece. He started in 11th position. He runs P1 now and is the biggest mover of this race, of course, in the plus column. Josh Berry, the biggest mover in the negative column, down 20 after starting on the inside of row number 2, sits on pit road. He hasn't put it, yes, he has. He's put it on the hauler for the night after just 99 laps. So 123 laps in the books now, as Ethan Eckert, Tane Hodison, Benjamin Garrity, Gabriel Lafreniere, and John Crow Sr. lead this piece. Crow fighting a little bit of a loose condition now. He's got to be considering whether or not he should come down pit road. Let's take a look here at the pit strategy. 49 laps apiece for Eckert, Hodison, and Garrity. 57 laps for Lafreniere. 77 laps for John Crow. And something must be wrong because Jeremy Paris is not registering as having ever come down pit road. And to me, that is just all but darn near impossible. But while these drivers are out here now, 124 laps for Paris, 50 apiece for Moynihan, Jett, Minto, and Witt. You know, this top 10, everybody, you know, there is obviously a majority decision of, you know, when they're coming in. But, you know, at the same time, you've got to figure somebody's got to blink early here. You know, you've got a combined 125 laps amongst all of these drivers, so we should maybe consider getting to the end of stage number 2 here, as we're going to step aside for just a quick break on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to North Wilkesboro Speedway. We're lap 132 of 250 in the books, on our way toward lap 140 to the end of stage number 2. Ethan Eckert leading this race right now, while Rich Jett and Jeremy Paris are going at it hot and heavy. Rich Jett trying to chase down Jeremy Paris as we ride along with Jett here on his nose. He's trying to look for a way to try to secure away 7th position, get an extra stage point here as he looks right to the rear bumper of the 05. Jeremy Paris, your points leader, now being overtaken by John Crow Sr. and Rich Jett just trying to reel him in, as according to timing and scoring, Jeremy Paris has not come down pit road. So that saves him a couple of extra sets of tires at this point, 2 for sure, after everybody else already has. Rich Jet getting a little loose here, coming out of 4 and onto the front stretch. As we work lap 135, 5 to go here in stage 2. Ethan Eckert now with a 1.2 second lead over Benjamin Garrity. Noah Hamilton still trying to get himself around John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. Of course, John Wilco, the only driver here who could possibly be joining us for Polka Joe's 50th anniversary celebration up in Barnesville, PA on 105.5 WMGH. Of course, that will be on Sunday from, basically it's like a 12-hour festival celebrating Polka Joe, as I'm actually reading some information now about it. And this will be the stage as Randall Watkins went off the track once again. Randall Watkins was side by side with Matt Mackin as they came across the start-finish line. Mackin never touched him, and Randall Watkins just spun himself down here into the grass. So Ethan Eckert going to get credit for the green and white checkered flag here at stage number 2. Ben Garrity, Tane Hodison, Gabriel Lafreniere, Daniel Moynihan, John Crow Sr., Jeremy Paris, Rich Jet, Brandon Minto, and Steve Herring all being awarded stage points. Jeremy Paris here. Hopefully we see him come down pit road. There's no way he can't. There he goes as Ethan Eckert leads the parade. We'll see if we can get a hold of him after his pit stop. Hey, Ethan, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Listen, here you are battling your way up into the race lead in stage 2 here. You get the green and white checkered flag. Oh, you didn't beat Garrity off of pit road. But, here's the thing, man. I've watched you battle your way up here from 11th position. You get the green and white checkered flag at the end of stage 2. What's going to be the strategy here in 3?
I don't know. I'm probably just going to play it as we go. It really depends on how the cautions lay and all that.
Yeah, I mean, cautions have been aplenty tonight. 8 cautions for cause, 10 total, with the stage break. So, all things considered, it's been kind of a rough night there on the asphalt.
Yeah, it definitely has not been too fun, that's for sure.
What's going to be the strategy, as far now, next week, of course, we go from the short track here in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, to Charlotte, North Carolina next week. When we get to Charlotte, what are you thinking about once we get through, of course, the Coke 600, and then, of course, come truck racing on Tuesday night?
Well, Charlotte's always fun with the trucks. I love it. I think really the trick to winning that's just going to be timing your pit stops the right way, because that's how I lost the D-Fix race last night, so hopefully I can just time the pit stops right, and yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll see you here on the other side once it's time to announce the podium finishers.
Yeah, you will.
A very confident Ethan Eckert here, driver of the number 11, as we get ready to go back green flag racing. When he says, yeah, you will, that's a young man who has decided to take the bull by the proverbial horns. The lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car as Benjamin Garrity waits for Ethan Eckert to get lined up alongside of him. Garrity going to control the field as we come down the back stretch. Everybody going 2 by 2 into the arc. As Garrity waiting for the iRacing.com pace car to make the dip. It'll be lap 144 when the green flag waves. Barney is up there with the green flag in his hand. Benjamin Garrity takes another run here at the lead and gets a jump over Ethan Eckert as the green flag waves. Gabriel Lafreniere working just ahead of Daniel Moynihan. I keep trying to say Bobby Moynihan, but that's a comedian who used to work on SNL. Moynihan hurls it to the inside now trying to keep himself wrapping that turn as tight as he possibly can here on lap 145. Just shy of 100 to go. Benjamin Garrity now going fast time at 18.56 seconds. A little bit of a hornet's nest here as we look from above, a 3-car pack. That's Daniel Moynihan on the low side in the Dunkin' Donuts number 53, the 06 Oxmoor of Gabriel Lafreniere, and Jeremy Paris lurking here, waiting for someone to make a mistake as he opens the door for John Crow Sr. in the 95 Hope Toyota Tundra, as Paris looks to get around, and now he may just kind of have to follow Gabriel Lafreniere and maybe get in some of that air as he looks to take that air away from the right rear quarter panel of the 53 of Moynihan. Benjamin Garrity, our pole sitter, currently our race leader here ahead of Ethan Eckert, our Stage 2 winner. Dane Hoddeson runs in P3 right now as Daniel Moynihan slides in just behind Gabriel Lafreniere in 5th position, getting himself into the top 5. .100 laps to go as we are here on lap 151. Daniel Moynihan still side by side with John Crow Sr. as John Crow not willing to give up any kind of room. We're going to ride along with Crow here in the 95. We look to the right here and we can see Daniel Moynihan almost rubbing that right side of the 95 here on lap 152. Moynihan holding his own as we rotate to the rear. I can't click fast enough. As now we see the hashtag Jimmy Strong here on the spoiler of this Toyota Tundra, looking back at Moynihan. Now everybody, just about everybody, single file now. As they are still, I say that, as they are still battling it out ahead of him, Jeremy Paris and Gabriel Lafreniere. Seems kind of strange that the guy with the French last name is racing against somebody whose last name is Paris. As Paris is trailing Lafreniere by just about 1/10 of a second according to timing and scoring, but that distance at 1/10 of a second is so quick here at this place because there is no room on the racetrack whatsoever. They're now side by side, all but looking at each other. They could poke one another's eyes out through the window net as they haul it out of turn 4 and come down the front stretch. Taking a look here into the YouTube.com live chat, Young Camel saying Dan is rising up. He sure is. Moynihan is. Of course, he's talking about Daniel Moynihan as he's up 7 positions after qualifying in 14th position. Austin Wilson cheering on Brandon Minto in the number 12. Let's take a look and see where Brandon might be as he is down 4 positions. His teammate, Mike Wright, not on the racetrack tonight, so Minto kind of a lone wolf, as you will. Of course, here in the Truck Series, he's also usually joined by the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, and Stoney taking the night off as well. Into the wall goes Gabriel Lafreniere. Let's see what happens. Oh, he makes contact with the 05 and gets shoved up into the wall. Gabriel Lafreniere goes from the top 5 all the way down here in the 19th position as he comes down pit road, and now is going to go down a lap as Benjamin Garrity pulls out of turn 4 here on lap 161. So just 90 laps to go here in this piece from North Wilkesboro. As we're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media, I'm Dave Regal, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
So hi, my name's Christy. I'm a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trish's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trish's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Welcome back to North Wilkesboro Speedway, where right now we're working lap 188 of 250. Time ticking away slowly but surely here in this race, as we have now gone, and Benjamin Garrity is all but gapping Ethan Eckert by 3 seconds now. You can see that here on the timing line on the left-hand side of your screen on our scoring pylon. Dave Regal with you here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth right outside of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Glad to have all of you with us here tonight in the YouTube.com live chat, as Austin Wilson still cheering on Brandon Minto. I want to thank you all for making us a part of your evening, welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Ben Garrity leads this race now by 3.06 seconds. Jeremy Parrow, wow, just made contact with Tane Hodison. Let's see what happened here. Here's Jeremy Paris just behind Tane Hodison. Hodison gets loose. Paris goes low. They don't make contact, but Tane Hodison just gets credit for a self-spin here on lap 192. Now that's what's going to make things interesting here, folks, because of course this is going to trigger wholesale pit stops with Ben Garrity, Jeremy Paris, Daniel Moynihan, John Crow, Michael Witt, Mitchell Smith, John Wilco, and Richard Pruitt. Atop the pile, suddenly going to be Ethan Eckert, Brandon Minto, Rich Jett, and Steve Herring. Each of those drivers coming down on lap 139. So we can see some of the pit strategy here paying off. 53 laps on the books for those drivers who have stayed out. That Ben Garrity runs in P7. Fresh off of pit road, as well as Jeremy Paris, Daniel Moynihan, and John Crow, your top 10. Rich Jett and Steve Herring now come down pit road. A little deke here from Gabriel Lafreniere as he stays out to get a proverbial lap back. But Ethan Eckert and Brandon Minto choosing to stay out. And, you know, Minto is one of those, we'll call him a mad scientist, if you will, as we know that he's got a schedule to keep here that's, of course, usually more so indicative of team orders, which, of course, are generally written out by Mike Wright out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Philadelphia Phillies picking up a win in South Philadelphia tonight. They go 35-14 in the win-loss column. 21 games over 500 for the Phillies here in the twilight of May. So pretty good start for the Phils. Of course, we say start. It's still only May. Bad things can happen come July. But they happen to play in that little bandbox we call Citizens Bank Park. Elsewhere in sports, the Indiana Pacers trail the Boston Celtics 92-83 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Ethan Eckert takes the green flag, and we are back underway. He has Jeremy Paris in hot pursuit. This isn't going to be easy as Paris looks to the inside, lifts out of the way for Ethan Eckert. Also in playoff mode is the NHL, the National Hockey League Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 is going to be tomorrow night between the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. The Ice Cats 26-11-4, their away record. The Rangers, though, 30-11-0 at home. As we work lap 199, getting ready to see that 50-cent piece come in here for the end of this race now, as Ethan Eckert is falling like a stone. Jeremy Paris controlling the field now by half a second over Benjamin Garrity. Paris just lays fast time down at 18.5 seconds even. That's 0.15 of a second faster than Benjamin Garrity, as he now gaps him nearly 0.6 of a second. It seems like as soon as you wind up getting yourself, you know, about a half second up, you get in such clean air. Watching the 24 of Richard Pruitt here, he's trailing Michael Witt in the 88. Michael Witt kind of in a weird little throwback paint scheme, as he's got the iRacing.com logo on the hood, but kind of a Danica Patrick swoosh down the side. Watching Gabriel Lafreniere work just underneath Brandon Minto. Now Minto here, currently, let's see where Minto might be. Running in 11th position, not having a great night, all things considered, but he last was down on lap 139, so he's staying on task. He wants to make sure that he saves a set of tires here for the end of this piece with 45 laps to go. Jeremy Paris now almost a full second ahead of Ben Garrity. Ethan Eckert, though, he looks to take on Michael Witt as he looks to the high side. Michael Witt guns it and wraps the corner and slides back in front of Witt. Now, all of a sudden, Pruitt able to get around to Ethan Eckert. So something Ethan Eckert did here to the 11 truck, that F-150, not so great. Of course, he's also out there on very old tires. In fact, let's take a look here at your pit strategy in the bottom corner of your screen. Ethan Eckert, 66 laps on those tires. Everybody else very fresh. So we are going to see him start to fade a little bit here in the twilight of this race. Stage 3 underway. 43 to go now. Of course, we just mentioned that the Phillies go 35 and 21, 35 and 14, 21 games over 500. Lead the Atlanta Braves in the NL East by 5.5 games, 13 games over the Nationals, 13.5 over the Mets, and the Marlins just sitting in the basement at 19.5 games behind. It would be just this side of a miracle if the Miami Marlins got anywhere near the Nationals right now, even though they are only 6.5 games back there. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the NL Central with the Los Angeles Dodgers at 33 and 17. Leading the NL West, 8.5 games up over the San Diego Padres. In the American League, the Yankees are 33 and 16, 2 games over the Orioles. The Guardians are 32 and 17, 2 games over the Royals. And the Mariners are 2.5 games up on the Texas Rangers, who just lost to the Phillies, as the Mariners are 26 and 22. So obviously, weak division in baseball is going to be the NL West. Everybody else who leads those divisions already at 30 wins on the season, with the exception of the Brewers, and even the Brewers are 8 games over 500. .213 laps in the books. Jeremy Paris leads us here over Benjamin Garrity. Ben Garrity a full second and then some behind Paris. As basically closest battle on the racetrack is Jeremy Paris trying to get around the lap truck of Rich Jett. And now Paris looks to the inside. Got to find where he just bled off to here. As Paris is starting to set everybody's hair on fire, he's starting to lap the field the good old-fashioned way. He's got Brandon Hinton behind him now. That puts Noah Hamilton in the crosshairs in the 84. Jeremy Paris looks to the inside of Hamilton, and now Hamilton getting ready to give up a lap, as he's going to have to let Jeremy Paris go to make sure nothing bad happens here on 2:17. 33 to go in this piece, as Paris makes quick work of Noah Hamilton. That's going to put Brandon Minto in the crosshairs next, but quite frankly, Minto is just that far behind, or ahead, so to speak. So I don't think that's going to be an issue right now, as Chris Claude has now clawed his way up into the top 10. He's got that Monster Energy Tundra running in 10th position. He qualified 9th, so he's trying to get back to where he had begun this race, is Chris Claude. And, you know, Chris is one of those people who I call him Mr. Consistency. He hasn't come off that race line all night long and is just out here logging his laps. He's got Gabriel Lafreniere in front of him. He's got to get around him to get to Richard Pruitt. That's the next position, the next positional battle here for Chris, as we work with 30 to go. Jeremy Paris dominating this race now by 1.47 seconds, nearly 1.5 seconds, as John Crow Sr. trails now by 3.75 seconds and we go under caution. Ethan Eckert, oh my, may have finally bit the big one as he gambled after not coming down since lap 139. Ethan Eckert all by his lonesome, just ahead of Brandon Minto. Self-spins coming out of turn 4, and womp womp here at the start-finish line. He's going to have to come down and get pit service now as we're here on lap 221. Crossing the line at 222. Brandon Minto comes in. This should be his scheduled stop, so this may be what he was waiting for. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on Brandon Minto. Ethan Eckert still hasn't come down pit road. Ethan, make a smart decision. There you go. Turn harder left. 181 for Claude Ferland, his last pit stop. So it's going to be Minto and Eckert coming down pit road this time by. That's going to put them on fresh rubber here. When we go back green flag racing, it'll be Jeremy Paris, Ben Garrity, John Crow, Daniel Moynihan, Tane Hodison, Mitchell Smith, Michael Witt, Steve Herring, Richard Pruitt, and Chris Claude in the top 10. I'm curious to see what Chris does here because he's now got an opportunity to get right up against Richard Pruitt. The question is, does Chris overtake Pruitt and start making his drive to the front, or does he start to fade back again as he has worked his tail off to get back up here into the top 10 after qualifying in 9th position? Tane Hodison saying that that right rear was cooked on the 93. The iRacing.com pace car lights go out, so we'll be getting ready to wrap them double file here. Jeremy Paris with control of the field. He opts to take the high line, hits the restart zone, and we are underway. Jeremy Paris with an impressive jump over top of Benjamin Garrity. But they're both going to have to take a look here at Brandon Minto and Noah Hamilton as we work lap 226, 25 to go now. As Chris Claude has already dropped into 11th position. He's got John Wilco just behind him, looking to give him the shove that he needs. Brandon Minto taking the run here at the 24. He doesn't want to cook his stuff up too much, but he's running out of time if he wants to make a run toward victory lane or at least toward that podium as we work lap 228. You know, time is just, the sand is just dribbling down in the hourglass, and it just seems like Minto may not have enough time to get back up here as he and Steve Herring get ready to go at it. Herring in the 89. Benjamin Garrity trying to close in here to less than a second behind Jeremy Paris, but Paris just almost too much to handle. as Daniel Moynihan in the 53 chases down Benjamin Garrity. Ethan Eckert, though, after getting those fresh tires, is already laying the hot time down at 18.49 seconds. He's 100th off of the pace there, and a lap behind. What he really needs to see right now is a caution to come out. With 19 laps to go here in the Craftsman Truck Series, we're going to step aside one more time. Don't go away, though. We're going NASCAR side-by-side right here on Sim Racing Media.
So, hi, my name's Christy. I'm a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As that's still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh,
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Ten laps to go here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. live here in North Carolina. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. 10 to go as Jeremy Paris rolls out of turn 4. It's now 9 to go. Jeremy Paris with a 0.6 of a second lead. Caution number 13 just finished up here during the commercial break. As now it looks like Chris Claude may have crashed. We're going to take a quick peek at that. Chris Claude here in the 10. He's just over top of teammate Ethan Eckert. And oh my. Chris just coming to a stop to avoid the wreck. So that's probably not a bad thing. We'll see what happened here when Brandon Minto brought out the caution, or at least may have brought out the caution just a few moments ago. Here's the 12, just underneath the 88 of Michael Witt. Witt gets loose on the front end and clips Brandon Minto. Oh, and that'll be the end here for the 12. As that's going to leave Brandon Minto Jeremy Paris all by his lonesome here up atop the pile. 0.9 of a second, now a full second over top of Benjamin Garrity. It goes Paris, Garrity, Hodison, Moynihan, Smith, your top 5. Some of these drivers we haven't had a chance to talk to yet this year, so we're going to see what happens here as Tane Hodison tracks down the 65. Hodison out of Brunswick, Maine, trying to draw himself ever so closer. He gets a run right here on the 65. He draws himself even closer now, setting himself up to try to cut underneath him as they're all but making contact coming through turns 1 and 2. They shoot down the backstretch, and Hodison's got to make something happen here. It's time to either defecate or get off the proverbial pot, that's for sure. 3 laps to go. Jeremy Paris in cruise control mode here on top of the scoring pylon. Ben Garrity now putting some kind of a distance between himself and Tane Hodison, but that actually works to Hodison's advantage now. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go. As they roll out of turn number 4, the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air, and we are racing back to checkers. Jeremy Paris has just been incredible tonight as he has battled his way up from 4th position. He went off of pit strategy for quite a while. One final time out of turn 4. He can see the checkered flag, the promised land in the crosshairs. Ben Garrity finishes 2nd, and Tane Hodison in 3rd. Jeremy Paris wins the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series event here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. A good win for Paris. We're going to get a chance to talk to him, Benjamin Garrity, and Tane Hodison in just a moment as we wrap things up here. Paris opting for the Alan Kulwicki Polish victory lap. As we see him pop on in there. Now we're going to get a hold of Tane Hodison as well. These guys must already be down here. And during his Polish victory lap, Jeremy Paris, driver of the 05. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, man. Listen, you finished strong again tonight. Obviously, deking the field out. You took a long time to come down for that first pit stop. What was going through your mind?
I wanted to save a set of tires for the end there. I thought we may get a couple cautions in that last stage. That first run was too long, though, so didn't end up needing them.
Yeah, that's the thing. That first run, was plagued by cautions. I mean, we had more cautions in the first stage than we did in the second 2 combined almost. What does that feel like when you're trying to get yourself into a rhythm and it seems like every time you get yourself nice and comfortable, you're under caution again?
Oh, yeah, it's just part of this track. I will say that I ran a couple C Opens, and these guys did a lot better than that. So we did good there.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, you still sit atop the point standings. You're going to wind up controlling this for another week. You notch off win number 4 on the season. What's going to be the mindset going into Charlotte next week?
We're just having fun, Dave. Good group of guys to run with. Benjamin was probably the class of the field there. I don't know that I could have gotten by him without a real long run, so he was pretty strong there.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations once again. Before we cut you loose, who helps you get it done here on the 5 team? I keep trying to plug you for sponsorships, and you're still the man in black.
No, I mean, we did good there. Now, I usually thank the crew chief and everything. I want to apologize to Gabrielle there. I ran out of talent going into the corner at some point in that last stage. Backed up into him, ruined his race. So I owe him a beer or a seltzer or whatever they drink up there.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations, and we will see you next week at Charlotte.
Thanks, Dave.
That, of course, your weight race winner, Jeremy Paris. Next up here for our interviews, going to be Benjamin Garrity as we get him on up here onto the radio. Hey, Ben, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yep.
Hey, man, listen, great finish tonight. You bring one home for Pennsylvania on here on P2. How does it feel to get here? I mean, you were dominant so long in this race and still, just ran out of the ability to get around Jeremy Paris.
Yeah, it's great. It's just tough to pass here. It's so hard in the short tracks. I mean, you can't really go anywhere. But I wish it would have stayed green on that one run. I had like a 3-second gap. It felt really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you were ready to start lapping the field at one point, and I mean, as I watched you go, I thought, oh man, if we stay green, he's going to wind up with just like 4, 5, 6 cars left on the lead lap. But unfortunately, the caution bug comes out, and cautions breed cautions. We're getting ready to go to Charlotte next week, so we finally get away from the short track here. What's going to be your mindset going into Charlotte, of course, as we go for one of our banner nights?
Qualify well and stay up front. That's usually what you have to do. I mean, it's havoc everywhere. Just got to try and avoid it as best as possible. The only way to do that is really stay up front.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who helps you get it done on the 65, and who do you need to thank tonight?
Gorilla Gas setups, especially Jarrett Ferreira and John Crow. They make all the setups awesome every day. And my mom, family watching, my cousin, my uncle. Well, my grandfather.
All right, man. Well, once again, congratulations for finishing P2, and we will see you next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
See ya.
And last but certainly not least, here on the podium tonight is going to be the voice of the number 93, Tane Hodison out of Brunswick, Maine. Hey, Tane, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, listen, it's a rough night for the 93. You don't wind up finishing, P1, but you still get here onto the podium. How do you find yourself here, and what kind of action were you seeing around yourself on the racetrack tonight?
Well, I'm just happy to finish in the top 3. The pace was really good tonight. I didn't have much practice because I've had baseball all week, so it's been hard finding practice, but it seems to have paid off in that I got a top 3, which was unexpected for me. But it was like around the front where I was pretty much all race was like clean, but my car just killed the right rear every run until it was like impossible to control, which is why I spun that one time. But yeah, it was a really fun race.
Yeah, it was fun to watch up here in the broadcast booth. I mean, short tracks are always exciting. This was a pretty long one tonight, though, at 250 laps. I mean, your arms have to be tired. There's a lot of footwork that comes here at these tracks. So, take us through a little bit about, how you wind up digging through all of that traffic, because, I mean, you start 10th, you finish 3rd.
I was pleasantly surprised in the first run with the speed. I'd made a mistake and I never used the qualifying setup before, and it was incredibly loose. So I only ended up doing one run because I had 2x or 0x'd it in qualifying in the first lap. In the second lap, I was being overly cautious, so the race setup was a lot better, and it was just easier to weave through the traffic. I might have been a little too aggressive on the first run, but I didn't take anyone out or push anyone out of the way, so it doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to get as far up as I could as soon as possible.
All right, my man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helps you get it done on the 93?
Noah, the league or the team owner. Diego helped us out a little bit. He's the other driver. He wasn't here tonight. And yeah, Chris as well, league owner.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
All right. Thank you. See you next week.
We'll have to get through next week as it looks like we had an audio loss there for reasons I can't quite explain. But you saw our final results here. Not sure what went on with the audio. Want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening here on iRacing.com. Of course, I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth saying thanks for tuning in and making us a part of your evening and for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.